Hi everybody. So I plan to tow. So a lot of you guys know I probably by now I got a new truck. I got a '99 GMC Sierra, which I love so far. But I plan to be towing a lot of things with it, from campers to trailers, towing my grandfather's Ford 8N that I inherited. So I want to upgrade the transmission cooler. Now originally I was just going to go with the universal transmission cooler, and install it and call it a day. It's what a lot of people had done, but recently Mishimoto had released a transmission cooler that literally pretty much is a direct OEM replacement. It like quadruples the size, it more than doubles the cooling capacity and all. And I've done looked at the diagrams and looked at the research and everything. So it was a little bit more than I really want to spend on it, but the fact that it just snaps into place, I didn't really want to have to deal with rubber hoses and all that. I wanted something that'll just bolt into place. It's bigger, it cools better, and at some point I'll get a gauge cluster from a 6.0 or a 2500 Sierra or Silverado of the same year that has a transmission cooler on it, but I'd like the miles to match up, and I know that's going to be a little expensive to get someone to program the cluster and all. So we're gonna unbox this, get this put on and everything. I haven't had any issues at all yet. My fluid is perfectly bright red, or perfectly bright pink, like they changed it right before I got the truck, or it just runs that dang well. We've driven to Virginia and stuff and back. I think I've put nearly 1,500, 2,000 miles on it so far, and I've loved every bit of it. But it's kind of just protecting my investment and all. So I'm unbox this, get this all put in, get everything taken away and stuff, and hope you guys enjoy. luckily those came out pretty easily. I was a little worried. Some people had mentioned that they'd been rusty or they'd been hard to remove. Luckily the truck's pretty clean overall, so that came out really easily. All we need to do is get these 2 bolts out at the top, and then this one will be all out of there. And just for kind of a size comparison, just to show you guys what we're working with here, obviously this is the old one, this is the new one, and it'll mount right around there, right where the old one was. And I kind of like the little M that's on the front and all. These just actually got released about a month or so ago, a few weeks before, or like a month to like 2 weeks before I actually bought the truck. And this is the only direct upgrade replacement that I found so far. All the other ones use rubber hoses, which I've talked to mechanics and they said that they've got along just fine with the rubber hoses and all, but I kind of want the added peace of mind as much as I will be towing and stuff. And since my transmission's in good shape, the truck only has 155,000 on it, I just want to be safe. So let me finish getting this out of here and then we'll get the new one in. So one of the cool things, like I said, it's a direct swap in replacement and all. We cleaned up the transmission fluid and stuff that leaked out of the cooler. I did drive the truck here. The fluid is not hot, but I just wanted to clean it up and everything. I don't like leaking fluid or any place to look like there's leaking fluid and stuff. So there's a bracket on the top of the old cooler. This essentially will replace that bracket and then screw into the new cooler, which is pretty dope. So this one comes with all the hardware and everything. These are all the bolts you'll need. You literally don't need anything if it's with one of these style trucks, from my understanding. It already has the stuff that the adapters that the old lines snap into. And this also works for 2007 to 2013 GMT 900s also, from my understanding. All you've got to do, from my understanding, is get the new adapters and things. But the cool thing also, which it actually does not seem like mine has one. There's supposed to be a temperature sensor that mounts into that bracket and all there. It doesn't seem like mine has that. Which I'm not fully sure if that's just because mine's a 99, it was the first year or whatever. So we're not going to bother with it, but this does have the actual holder for it, which is pretty cool. That's what this is for right here. For you to snap that temperature cooler and stuff, or the temperature sensor into. And I've never really done any work with transmissions or anything. I've always dreaded having even the thought of adding a transmission cooler, but this has me pretty excited and all. So let's get this mounted and get that all squared away. So on the video online, you have to fish these little bolts through the back to mount where the old plastic snaps were for the old transmission cooler. They said to essentially put some masking tape and a 10mm socket to fish them down there. My hands are small enough so I can fit them, but you may have to go that route with the masking tape and all. So we have all the bolts in and everything. They said to leave them loose for fitment and all. They said the main thing is to make sure it's not rubbing on the A-pillar behind it. Even with mine, I don't believe there's any way to go back far enough to rub, but I'm gonna make sure it's in the forwardmost position. We'll start to tighten these all up. I'm gonna tighten them up by hand just to be safe. And then I'll have to get a 10mm open wrench for the back of it at some point, or for the lower bolts because they're lock washers and all, which I'm appreciative for. So. Alright, just to bring you guys a little bit closer. So one bolt here, one bolt here, one bolt here, one bolt here. And see, these are all adjustable and stuff, so you can make sure. And then there's bolts. You can see the nut underneath here, and then one over here. And that's kind of the area back there you got to fit it into and all. So now essentially we just have to connect the lines. Put a little bit of trans fluid in it. I may actually run it first, since it was already close to temperature. Run it first, maybe put a little bit of trans fluid in because it's supposed to take 0.65, and then drive it, warm it up and everything, and check the trans fluid again. So let's try this. So we're going to wipe it up and everything before we really do anything else with it, just to make sure, so I can tell if there's any type of leak or anything of that nature. What? Definitely feel the heat from it. Definitely warm. So let's check our transmission fluids real quick with an idling and everything. We're a little bit on the low side like I expected, so we're going to put some in. This requires Dexron 6, so I ended up getting a red bottle of the Max Life multi-vehicle. So we're right around where we need to be. We're a little on the higher side. It's supposed to have 0.65 quarts to the capacity. It's a 1 quart bottle. I don't really know a way to gauge that, but I haven't used over half the bottle yet. We're going to take it, we're going to go, the grill and stuff should be fine. We're going to go drive it down the road and back and then check our fluid again, and then we should be good to go depending on whether it's high or low or whatever. So let's try that. All right, so we took it on a drive and everything. We brought it back. I'm about to check the oil again. Everything seemed fine to me. It was shifting great. And now you can actually touch it and it feels cooler. Like you can stand putting a hand on it and everything. Before you couldn't do that. So the only slight downside is I'm on a little bit of an incline, but I'll check it later on. Okay, so we could use a little bit more fluid in it. I don't want to overfill it if I can avoid it. So, it was reading about halfway. I'm going to give it a second to drain down and stuff and check it again. But so far, our Mishimoto trans cooler for the GMT 800 and GMT 900 has been great. This is my 99 Sierra with 155,000 miles. I just wanted to protect it, like I said, and give myself some kind of added insurance and everything. I'm gonna get everything back installed since there appears to be no leaks or anything. I think it looks really good on the front of there. That's about it. I think I'm gonna wash it and stuff. Maybe I'll show you guys that, and we'll kind of go from there. So if you guys are looking for an automatic transmission cooler for your 1999 to 2006, actually 1999 to 2013, I believe, go to Mishimoto and order it. I actually got mine on eBay. It's about $350, which is a little steep, but for the fact that it's a direct replacement, I'm willing to spend the extra and all. And you can look at the graphs and everything. They did the testing and everything and support a business trying to make good quality products and all. And with that note, I will see you guys later. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you end up getting one of these for your truck also and how you like it.